Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Testimony Tuesday Talking Tea. We are excited to have you on with us on today. We did not announce that we were coming on today, so we are just excited once again to have those who are joining us.
We welcome you.
We welcome you. As you can see on today, I have a different guest. I don't have my normal person here with me on today, but I have a great person here with me on today. So thank you all for joining. Go ahead, like, tag, and share. Tell somebody that we are on. I am super excited to have who I call Mama Boyd on with us on today. I am super excited to have her.
Thank you, Ayan.
So, one of the things that people say a lot of times when I ask them to do things, they say that I voluntold them
That's right.
to do things.
I wasn't even voluntold today. I was just told to sit down.
Hello, LaShawn.
Hi, LaShawn. Help a girl out.
So here we have, and I think it is so just wonderful because you are here, just happen to be here on today. And so as you are here, we are ending Mental Health Awareness Month. Well, this is the last Tuesday we'll do a live in this month. And so to have you here, I think is just absolutely wonderful because not only do you counsel in the school world, but you also counsel in the spiritual, so at church. And so, hey, Mickey.
Hey, Mickey.
LaShawn said correct. I voluntold. That's right. That's just how it goes. How it goes. If you're connected to me, 100% you're going to be voluntold to do something. I think Mickey can attest to that as well. She is, oh yeah. So anyway, but I am so glad to have you here because I think that it is important. There's this whole stigma around counseling, as you know, and therapy. And it is, first of all, your mental health matters.
Yes.
And so I think that people should understand, just as if your head is hurting, you may get it checked out, or you may take a Tylenol for a headache, or if you broke your arm, you would go to the doctor and get it repaired. Correct. Your mental health is the same way. And so if you are having anxiety issues, if you're dealing with depression, if you are if you're dealing with grief, just all sorts of things that happen. When people say life is lifing, it's really something that's happening that's out of the norm.
Right.
And it's causing a stressor in your life.
Right.
And so I think it is important that you get the help that you need.
It is important, very important.
And tell us why you think it is so important.
Mental well-being is very important. As she said, we always think about our physical well-being and sometimes our spiritual well-being, but not as much as our mental well-being. It is important to be in balance. They all have to be in balance with each other. And it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
People need to understand that it's okay. It's okay that your heart is hurting. It's okay that you're broken. It's okay that life have dealt you with a situation that you really don't want to deal with, but because it's there, you got to do something with it. And mental health therapists and counselors just simply help you do the something with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it is important to note that when you talk about all the different areas of things going on in your life, therapy is a safe space to talk. It is a safe space where there is someone that's non-judgmental and you're able to release what you're feeling. Because if you may be my issue, and you never are, of course, but if you are my issue and I can't come to you and talk to you about what I'm feeling, then maybe it's I should go,
to a therapist or
and just
counselor.
have that conversation.
Right.
Just say, to just have an outlet.
Yes,
right?
have an outlet. Yes. It's important to get what's on the inside of you on the outside.
That's right.
Because as long as it stay on the inside, it's doing the things with your central nervous system that you don't know what it's doing, and that's what causes that imbalance. And you're behaving in ways that you normally don't behave. You're behaving in ways that you don't want to behave, but because life is lifing and because those things are happening internally, it's important to get them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think people don't understand the importance of being able to talk about things. Talking is important.
Mhm.
And so it's so important because it doesn't fester on the inside. It doesn't give it time to grow and breed into something else that you don't want it to breed into. So conversations are very important.
Very important, very important. And when you are having those types of issues and you may not be ready for a therapist or counselor, make sure that you have a journal and that you're writing. And it doesn't have to be a journal, it's some notebook paper, but you got to get those feelings out of you in order for
Absolutely.
you to have a good balance.
And what helps, I think, where therapy steps in, it's one thing to get it out, but once it's out, how do you navigate those
That's
feelings?
true.
And so, one thing that counseling and therapy does is it helps you to navigate the feelings that you're feeling.
That's true.
And I am, and I say this all the time, when I went to school, the first thing that one of my professors said is that every therapist needs a therapist.
That is exactly
And
right.
so I thought, wow. And I often, share this when we had the most trying time of our life. I didn't even know, I knew of a thing called therapy. I knew that, but I didn't know what a great asset it would be for me and my family. I didn't know. We tried to navigate it. We did, have some grief sessions. We tried to make sure we had the children in like the grief sessions, and that was good for them. But when I realized how important it was because I couldn't navigate these feelings. I didn't know whether what I was feeling was, Lord, am I going crazy? Is this
normal?
Is this normal? Right.
Yeah, right.
I'm hurting so bad, and it was when we started support group that I understood that my feelings were valid. I was not crazy. This is adjusting to a new normal. And it helped me to embrace, which is very hard to say, this new normal, embrace where I was at the moment. I won't even say embrace, accept where I was at the moment. Embracing something seems like you're, but it was really accepting it. It was accepting where I was, which was a hard thing to do. And so that was one of the key factors that showed me how much or how important therapy was. And then the next thing I wanted, go ahead. What were you
I
about
was
to say?
just thinking that I remember when I was in the counseling program also, and I thought I was going to learn the theoretical, the practical steps for helping somebody else. And what I didn't realize is that the program was more for me than somebody else. It was for me first. And so I was like, wow, sometimes you are broken on the inside or you're dealing with those mental anxieties. And as women, we're so busy surviving and just doing the things that we need to do that you don't think about that those issues are issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes we've dealt with things so long, we've normalized dysfunction.
Right.
We've normalized living in dysfunction. I remember when I got married, one of the things that, you have this whole fairy tale life planned out in your head, at least I did. But there were some non-negotiables for me. There were some things that I was not going to have in my marriage.
Okay.
And so it raised a standard for me
Mm-hmm.
because I had seen what dysfunction could look like in multiple, situations. I had seen the dysfunctions of what could happen, and I knew that I didn't want that for myself. Now, am I saying everything is perfect or has been perfect? Absolutely not. However, I understood I understood what I wanted
Mm-hmm.
and what I would have and would not have, right?
Okay.
And so so I think that therapy also helps you
put that in perspective.
right,
Yeah.
put that in perspective and helps you stop normalizing dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that happens so much because when you've had, as Oprah Winfrey said, all my life I've had to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, baby, all your life you ain't got to fight.
Right.
You just don't have to.
You don't have to.
But sometimes we normalize, well, I fought then, I'm going to fight now.
Right, right. Yeah.
So
we think that our situation is going to always be our situation.
Right.
And there's nothing we can do about it, but there's always something you can do about it.
Always.
You always have choices. You just got to see what those choices are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then if you are in a situation like I was in, I couldn't change my situation.
Mm-hmm.
How do I cope?
Mm-hmm.
Give me some coping skills to help me navigate what I am dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is so important. And that's an important part of therapy, mm-hmm. is getting those coping skills
and those strategies
that
helps you to rise above the situation.
Right.
The situation may not change, but if you can change your perspective order to handle and deal with the situation, it makes your life a little more less stressful.
Right. Yeah. And one of the greatest things I learned, even in my marriage, even in friendships, even in life itself, one of the things that people try to do is change other people. Mm-hmm. And I often tell people, you do not have the ability to change anyone other than yourself.
Right.
That's true. That was one of the greatest lessons I've learned.
That's true.
I can't change people, but I can change myself.
That's right. That's right. And the other part of that, you were saying that is when you was talking about marriage and dealing with marriage. I remember back in the day dealing with the problems or the situations of marriage, and you're trying to fix this and you're trying to make sure the home is comfortable and the children is this. And I remember God telling me one day, your husband is not your problem and you're not his Jesus. And so you don't need to take on Jesus' role. You let Jesus be Jesus and you do what you need to do for you. Yeah. So that kind of helped me also to realize that I can only change me.
Absolutely.
I'm only in control to me.
That's
and
right.
I leave people to God.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
leave
right.
people to God.
I 100% get that. And it was a hard lesson, but it was a lesson that I needed to learn. My husband tells me all the time, even still to this day, like, you cannot read my mind, like, because I think I know what he's about to say. You've been with somebody so long, you just think, and he's like, no.
And you want to answer for them.
Right. No. And so I said, okay.
Let your men be the men.
That's right. Let them answer for themselves. And this is me thinking I could think. I knew what the next thought was, the next move. I know what you want to say, kind of thing. It's like, nope, that's not even what I was going to say. So, so just being able to just understand that, again, you're in control of your own self and not in control of other people, and you cannot change other people. And so, but what you can do is give the people to the person who created them.
That's right.
Which is God.
That's right.
And so if you ever want to know how to fix a situation, take it to the creator.
That's right. And as he created, he can and procreate.
That's right.
And so we trust him with things that we don't understand and
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, there was something, and I know you probably are not going to remember because I cannot remember, but when we were doing the ship, you used an analogy, and I want to say, was it cabbage or something? No, not cabbage.
What was the analogy?
I don't remember.
I
But
don't remember either.
it was like a coping skill, but you had a word was it the sandwich?
Oh, the sandwich.
Yes.
it was
Okay.
the
Okay. I'm
sandwich.
thinking
Yeah.
food.
Okay.
So I went from cabbage, but it was the sandwich.
Sandwich.
And I
Yeah.
thought that was such a good analogy. Can you tell us about the sandwich?
So when you're dealing with relationships, generally it's a marital relationship, but it can be any relationship that you're dealing with. Whenever you are having an issue about something, you make sure that you layer it with a positive and then your negative and then a positive on top of it,
Ah,
because it's easier to take in the positive than the negatives.
absolutely.
It takes 7 positive to erase 1 negative.
Oh wow.
And so if you're getting negative after negative, there's no time to embrace the positive. And that's what sends many people into the lack of self-worth and lack of self-esteem, because they're not getting enough positive to negate the negatives.
June said he might need some therapy today because we left him out of the live. Honey, you are always welcome. This is your life.
This is your life.
That's
As a
right.
matter of fact, June, you can come take this seat. We can change seats. We can change seats. Yes.
So I think that's a great thing, and it's something that I learned early on in my marriage as well. When you talk about negatives, you can't just negatively complain
Right.
about things without any positive. And
Positive.
same thing with your children.
Mhm.
If you're always telling them what's wrong and
Mhm.
never telling them things that they're doing right,
Mhm.
it makes them
Feel
feel
inferior.
so.
Yeah.
It's always important that and so one of the things that I do in the mornings when Gabe and I did it with Makai and Bria and all of them, I did this with my kids, and I keep it going to this day. But I ask Gabe every morning, tell me 3 things positive about yourself.
Mhm.
And so it gives him a moment to reflect on who he is
Mhm.
and to say who the positive
Positive
things
things
about
about
himself.
Right, right.
And
And
so,
that builds up the worth within himself.
absolutely.
Yeah, that when the
Absolutely.
others began to antagonize, and he knows he already have an internal defense.
That's right.
Too often we deal with the externals of situations and we don't have anything internal that
That's right.
holds us.
That's right.
Yeah, that holds
That's
us.
right. That's good. That's good. What would you say to single women who are, there and they are wanting to be married? They're not married yet. They're waiting on God um,
Mm.
to help them, in a situation, in their situations. What is something that you would say to?
The main thing that I would say to single women and that don't settle, don't
Mm,
compromise, don't change who you are for the sake of the comfort of just to have a companion or a boyfriend or whatever you call them in your life.
right.
Um, be who you are and maintain who you are. And the person who's trying to find you to be the wife, they will enhance who you are. You don't have to sugar down, water down your personality, what you like, don't like, who you are for the sake just to have somebody in your life. It's better to be without someone and be lonely for a while than to get someone where you're married and you're still lonely.
Mm, mm. So pretty much you're saying don't settle.
Don't settle. Don't
Don't settle.
compromise.
Yep.
No. Mm-mm.
Um, I think that those things are so important. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I saw this video. I shared this video about um, mental health in children,
Mhm.
and I don't think we talk about it enough. Sometimes we are looking at our kids and we're thinking, this is normal or that is normal, or we see some signs of things that are not normal, but we don't know how to deal with it. How important is it for children to have the safe space?
It is most important for children to have the safe space. When my children were became middle age, middle school age, high school age, it was important for them to know that they all make mistakes. They're all going to make mistakes. But I had put phone numbers of friends that I trusted or people that I trusted in their cell phones. All of them have cell phones now. Put those numbers in their cell phones and say, when you can't talk to mom or dad about this situation, you're always welcome to call this person. When you're at a party or an event and you've drank too much or something is popping off and you need to leave, you can call this person. And whatever happens with this person, I don't have to know about it. Dad doesn't have to know about it because we trust what they would tell you to do.
Oh, I ain't there. Woo! Woo!
When you're in a situation and you see that you shouldn't be there, you look at your phone and say, hey, my mama's calling me, my grandma's calling me. You step out and you go in and say, there's an emergency at home, I gotta go. Because a lot of times the children, as they say, don't want to punk out in front of their friends. Gotcha. And so it's an easy way. And some would say, well, that's a lie. Well, it's not a lie because if my children are in trouble, I am calling them.
Right.
And so give them an out. Teach your children coping skills to give them an out when they're faced with situation. Put people in their lives where it will be a safe space for them to go. Create those places and those things for your children in order to keep them safe and establish those boundaries in their lives.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I think that that is important. I have, so for my children, I think I'm that helicopter mom.
Okay.
And so
tell them what the helicopter mom is. Everybody don't know what the helicopter mom is.
Well, it's me.
Well, you got to explain it because there may be some more helicopter moms out there that don't know that they're helicopter moms.
Well, I'm always there. I'm always hoovering over. I'm always. That is me.
And you have to give them some space in order, the things the Bible said, train up a child in the way they should go. When you've done the training ground, when you've your teacher has given you information, you've had the guided practice, you've had the independent practice, and now it's time to take the test. The teacher don't talk. Okay,
yeah,
they're
right.
Quiet. And so when you've taught your children what you need to teach them, you've got to give them that you've guided them along the way. You've got to give them that independent time to show you what you've taught them.
I think Makai is such an example of that for me because, it was very hard, very, very, very hard for me to separate. Like when it was college time, it was very difficult for me. I can even remember Devontae when he was in college. I remember him calling us one day and he was talking about, how junky his roommate was and all the things. And the next day I was up there getting him his own room. Ridiculous.
We have to teach our children strategies and coping skills.
Now, Makai, he's independent.
Okay.
So he just does his own thing. He, moves by the beat of his own drum. Okay. He's just that child. But he's an example of just putting it in him. And like when he went off to college, I couldn't. It was so bad. COVID came. I was so ready to go pick that boy up. I couldn't wait. I was like, thank you, Lord, for
Yeah.
this extra
You,
time.
you have to give them breathing room. They have to have breathing room.
It's the truth. It's the
Yeah,
truth.
give them breathing room.
Ivy said a professional hooverer. I know, Mickey. It was just he just complained so bad, and so there you have it. All right, we have a question. What are some signs that youth may exemplify that may qualify them to have a therapist? Good question, June. If they are isolated or isolating themselves, they're in the room all the time, they're not talking as much, you see a shift in their behavior. And so if once we could talk and have these conversations and now the child is withdrawn,
Yes.
yes. If they are sad often, you know, if they have experienced
if what they are doing now is opposite of what you had been seeing before,
absolutely.
There's something going on.
Yep.
And you need to figure out or find out what that something is. And if you can't, that's where you get the outside help
absolutely
to determine what that is. And she said there's a shift in behavior.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if they have suffered loss, I often talk about, you know, times that I've seen students who have lost parents, siblings, grandparents, and their behavior changes. And the reason that this happens is because they have not been given the proper tools to navigate grief.
Right.
And so then you see
or bullying or problems in school. It's not just there's many factors now that children deal with that we may not as adults in our times have a clue about. So it is important for us to watch our children carefully and see what changes exhibit and deal accordingly. Don't take things for granted. Don't just say that
take it for granted.
That, they're just going through. This is just middle school. This is just them. No, this is not just them. This is something else. And figure out what the something else is.
And if you can't figure it out, therapy may be, you know, very important. And some kids don't want to do therapy. They don't want to. They don't want any parts of it. However, I've had adolescents to come and not necessarily want therapy, but when we sit down and we begin to talk, they begin to release.
Open up. They will open up. Yeah.
And they may not have known at that moment that this is what they needed. However, over time they realize, whew, I'm so glad to have a safe space. And one thing the therapist is, this therapist is able to do is kind of redirect poor behavior.
Exactly.
And help them to understand, because some kids and even adults for that matter, they'll rather hear it from someone else than hear it from a parent or a spouse or a friend. You know, they would rather
and being able to give them that understanding. I remember dealing with a young middle school child who was vaping and doing a little weed. But when we talked about the facts about the consequences of and the side effects of and how the addictions began, it allowed the person to look at it in another different light than just the pleasure of doing it.
That's right.
Yeah. And so it is important to make sure they have the information.
That's right.
What they do with it is their choice, but make sure they have the information.
And I think that's important too, because now we're in a world where kids can get whatever they want. And they can see whatever they want. TV is not just TV, but games and social media. It exposes our children to so many things that we're not aware of. Gabriel, he was playing a game on his PS5, and this is a Spider-Man game that I purchased, or my husband purchased one of it. It's a Spider-Man game.
I'm laughing because
And the game cursed.
I'm laughing because I was in Walmart one Christmas. My children was younger, and I asked this guy, "What? Give me the names of games that they play." I was gonna get one for my children for Christmas, and they told me the name of this game, and I bought this game, and so they had a lock-in at church, and they carried their game to church. And the pastor called me and said, "Boy, you know what the children have?" And I was like, "Yeah, they brought the game. I got it to it for good. Do you know what the game is?" Lord, behold, they were killing folk. They were prostitutes. They were doing some of everything on this game. He got me the cheat sheet for this game. Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, that thing threw me. He said, "I got it. You can pick it up Sunday."
Wow.
And so I began to use that and other things to tell my children, you can play this at home, but you play it so we'll know this is what you're not to do. And so you use it as a teachable moment. Yeah,
Right.
you use it. We watched all the Disney movies, and it was teachable moments
Right.
for them. Yeah,
You know,
and you was mentioning earlier. I thought about the Antoine Fisher movie, and when Denzel was his therapist, and they had gone through some sessions, and then he counseled, and the guy came back and he said, "You opened me up. And now, what am I supposed to do with all of this?"
wow.
And so we got to be mindful as
That's right.
professionals
That's right.
that when we allow them those opportunities and those releases, that we also give them what they need in order to process and complete.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I think that that is so important. Now, I think you said something else so key. You talked about Disney and making it a teachable moment.
Mhm.
And so there are movies that you just automatically assume, oh, this is fine for my child.
Mhm.
Um, I watched, so we were watching a movie together, and it was The Princess and the Frog, right?
Mhm.
And so you think this is a simple little
Innocent
movie.
movie.
And as I began to watch it, I was like, oh, they're in New Orleans. Oh, they're doing voodoo.
Mhm.
Oh, like what? Through the cartoon?
To the cartoon.
And
Yes.
I was just so shocked.
Hmm.
But this
Exactly.
is what
This is what, and the
it's
Bible
the
say
subtle.
we're getting weaker and wiser, and so those things are now being. We're letting our children stay on the iPads and the phones to keep them busy while we
Guilty.
do other things,
Yeah.
and those ads that pop up. We got to be very mindful what we as parents are introducing our children to unawarely.
Unaware. Unaware. I had Gabe, and this is, I had him watching Veggie Tales so long, so long to help him learn some good qualities and character. You know, and even as I watch, it is just becoming, if you just sit down and watch
Mhm.
some of these things
Mhm.
that they're watching, I'm
You'll be
just like,
amazed. Yeah, you'll be amazed. Yes.
it is so
Yeah.
interesting. So anyway, I say that to say, it is just, oh Lord, it
Come
is
on.
no, I think we're still here. I just okay, there we go. It is, but it's the world that we're in. So it's the subtle entrance
Mhm.
that the enemy will
Would
use
use. Hmm.
to, do whatever. And
Hmm.
so I
And the Bible
realized
say he's subtle and cunning.
that's
So
right.
we got to
That's right.
be
Mindful, just mindful.
mindful.
And
Yeah.
I'm not, you watch what you want to watch, do what you want to do, all the things, but you have to be careful. You have to be careful because when you don't understand where something came from,
Mhm.
if you trace it,
Mhm.
you'll find
Find
out
out
where it
where it
came
came
from. So
from.
you just have to be very careful when it comes to
Right.
things like that.
Right.
But if you do find that your children are in need of therapy, it is important that you get it now. Um, And
so
listen,
many of our children, even at early ages now, are committing suicide.
it's the truth.
We just need to address that
It's the
up
truth.
front.
It's the
And
truth.
you just can't leave your children to chance.
It's the truth. Cutting.
Yeah,
Cutting is another thing that I've seen so much
prevalent.
with youth. I've heard youth tell me, um, vaping and smoking is a coping mechanism for. I've heard so many different things, and these are our babies that are having to deal with things that we didn't have to deal with. The peer pressure, the bullying, all of that is at an all-time high.
Exactly.
And it is terrible and it is a shame. And I often tell Gabriel, I don't ever send you to school to fight, to scream, holler, any of those things at anyone else. However, in me teaching him and his dad teaching him those qualities and traits, other people do that. And so then he becomes the target.
That's right.
And so then they are hitting and all the things. And finally I said, look, enough
It's enough.
is enough.
That's right.
Okay, it's
Okay.
just enough.
Okay. That's right.
Like you have got to defend
Defend.
yourself, because if you don't, it's going to continue.
It's going to continue.
And it's sad. And I would always tell my children in the classroom, come to me. Come tell me if something is wrong, if something is happening, I'm here and I'll handle it. And I didn't allow it in my classroom. So as teachers and administrators, like, you control your room. You're the boss in charge of that room for that moment,
That's
right?
That's
and
right.
so you set the standard. And I understand as they get older in middle school and all of those things, you got hormones raging and all these things happening. However, there's still a standard that has to be set. And it's just ridiculous because, and then I'm not even gonna go there, but yeah, just
and it's very important for our professionals to balance first love,
yes,
with discipline.
Absolutely.
You cannot expect to discipline a child without giving them the love they need.
It's the truth.
And then you want to say they are being disrespectful.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
I used to say this, and I'll say it: discipline without relationship equals rebellion.
Yeah, that's right.
For the first 2 weeks of school, you should be building a relationship with those kids, learning them, listening to them, having activities to learn your children. That was one of my greatest joys in my classroom, because I felt like I had good classroom management. I felt like the kids loved me and I loved them. And so I built
and it doesn't matter what age they are.
Does not.
You were elementary school and I done middle and high.
Right.
And the higher it goes, the principle remains the same.
That's right.
When they know, you can't teach them what you know unless they know you care.
That's right. That's right. And I say to any teacher that I know, that is one of the greatest things you can do, is build a relationship, because you don't know how far it could go, how much it can help them. How I walked into a school, this is a true story. I walked into a school about a couple of months ago. I walked into this particular school, and one of the students that I taught came running up to me, and she began to share some personal information with me. And her friend whispers to her and said, "You told her that?" And she said, "Yes, that's Miss Lewis." As if to say, you could tell her anything. It melted my whole heart. But that's the importance of it, because now it had been years since I taught her, but she still know I love her.
That's right.
And I'm here to listen and hear whatever it is she has to say. And so that's the kind of relationship that you want to build with children.
That's what's missing in our systems.
It is what,
that is what's missing in our systems. When we get that in place, behaviors will diminish and scores will increase.
My.
When we
you
get
might
that
have
in place,
the secret sauce.
I got the secret sauce.
You
got the secret sauce. When you put that in place,
yes,
children will work for who they like.
That's right. That's right.
They will work for who they like. But if you're there and you are belittling, you are not paying them any attention, you haven't shown them that they care, no wonder they're sitting in the back of the room doing nothing or
Right.
being disrespectful.
And your
They go
classroom has to
hand
be
in hand.
exciting.
They go hand in hand.
They do. And you got to have some enthusiasm in the classroom. You know, it can't just be blah. They have to learn, but you have to have a, you know, just
Some
an
library.
innovative
That-
way
that-
to teach
They
them.
are innovative. They
That's
are
right.
technological savvy. And
That's right.
so you can't give them lecture, paper, and pencil stuff all day long
And
and expect to get the results you're looking for. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, you're setting yourself and the school up for failure.
It's true. I just love that. You know what? Well, I won't even say that right now, but it is so true. So again, I say relationship is so important.
Crucial.
Building a relationship, allowing the kids to have a safe space. Maybe they can't get to a therapist immediately. Maybe you're the ear that they need to hear.
That's right.
That, you know, to listen. And I think it is very, very important. And so, hey, Miss Sheila, guys, thank you all for joining us. We jumped on, and this was just a quick thrown together moment, but it is always so good when I have you here, because I think that your expertise outweighs so much, because you've been doing it for so long. So you've been in the school, you've been counseling on, you know, in the school as well as individually. And I think it is so important. And now knowing what I know, I encourage everybody, not because I'm just a therapist, but because I see how much it can help.
And the need.
And the need.
There's
Yes.
a need.
There's
a
a
day
need.
and time. Yes.
So, guys, if you need some help, we are here. We are here. We are here. So if you need a therapist, if your children need a therapist, contact us. Contact us. We are here to help and to do whatever we can to help. So yeah, that is it. That is it. Janice, staff, teacher development is very, very important. Very important. Very important. So yes, we are here. We are here to help in whatever way we can. I am super excited to work alongside Miss Boyd. I am so excited. So we tell you, if you know someone that is in need of therapy, there are several agencies that are accepting clients. We are accepting clients right now. I do accept private pay, Medicaid, it's private pay.
Oh,
so,
okay. Thank you very much.
yeah. So, and soon we will have more insurance based as well options after September, I think. We'll have more insurance based. And LaShawn said that therapy has been life changing for me. And she is getting to know her. That's how important it is, LaShawn. I think that when you are a nurturer by nature and you do so much for other people, you don't realize that you can sometimes lose yourself in the midst of it.
That's exactly right.
And so when you say that you're getting to know you, I think that is so important. Yes.
And that's what I meant when I said counseling. I thought I was getting for somebody else, and it was for me.
Yeah.
I realized that I had lost my identity, and I had to redefine who I was and what I wanted out of life as the Creator created me to be and do.
Absolutely.
And it's good, LaShawn, that you're able to be transparent and say that you're getting the therapy and that it's what you need to do and you're getting what you need.
Absolutely. So, guys, we are going to wrap up now. I am going to put my number. I'm about to put the numbers in the chat where you can reach me. And I have a new virtual option. I'm so excited about that too. So if you are unable to come in, you have the option to get therapy virtually. Hey, Miss Woods. She said, same for her. That's how powerful therapy can be. Getting to know yourself. It is so true. So I am sharing the numbers that you are able to call in if you need help or would like therapy. Um, just put this up here, diversify. All right, Miss Boy, any last minute thoughts?
It's been a pleasure being online with you all today on this social media platform. I pray that you will not only get what you need in terms of therapy and counseling, but you will also do it for your children. 5825. Do it for your children, your grandchildren, all of your family members, and especially for our community, because we're all one in this thing together called life.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Guys, thank you all so much. I have put the numbers to contact us, Healthy Mind, Healthy Me, 252-572-4333, and Diversified Consulting, 252-431-5825. So you are able to contact us.
Amen.
And we will be so happy to assist you in any way we can. I am super excited. Thank you for joining me. And I don't know if I told people that speaking of therapy and all these things, Mama Boy has been my sounding board. You know, when I didn't even know what counseling was. I know you remember that. I don't word you all the time. So she has been my personal person. And so it has just been a blessing. So again, thank you all for joining. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Miss Woods. We appreciate it. Yeah, and our youth need it.
Yeah,
our youth
our
need
youth
it. They need a safe space to have a conversation. You don't know how many. I sit down with my child and listen to him on a daily basis. And sometimes he has the deepest conversations, and I'm shocked that his little mind is thinking that big.
That's right.
And is feeling the things that he's feeling. And I'm just grateful that I'm a safe space for him.
How many
However,
children don't have a safe space?
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I can help him talk through some of those things. But at the end of the day, if he needs therapy, I'm going to get
That's right.
therapy,
That's
you know,
right.
because
We've got to take the stigma out.
we've got to.
We've got to.
We've got to.
Lives, it's important to save lives.
Yep. So, guys, thank you all for joining us again. Healthy Mind, Healthy Me, Diversified Counseling. And Jill, any last minute thoughts, even though you're not over here on this side of the camera, but you're on the other side? Is there anything you want to share?
No, I just want to say that if I was,
We can't hear you. Come over.
Now they invite me in when it's about over. But truthfully, I just want to say, if I was to trust anybody with my kids, it would be these two right here. And I understand sometimes the conflict of interest with Yana being the mother, you might have to do something a little different. However, if that wasn't the case, these are the two people that I would choose right here. One, because they love God, and two, because they love people. Mm-hmm. And as I said, they are committed to excellent service.
Yep. Oh, thank you,
yes.
honey.
Thank you for my little part in the program.
Guys, thank you all again for joining us. Yes. We appreciate you. And if you have any questions, reach out to us with your questions. We are here for you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.